Well, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for finding the time to join us at the Interworks.cloud Virtual Summit. My name is Pelli. I'm the Interworks.cloud Vice President of Customer Engagement, and I'll try to be your host for today. Get started with the next presenter for the day. Hello, hi, Leahanne. This is Leahanne Hobson from Alinea Partners, joining from Vienna, Austria. And she will be talking about stop losing buyers, make sure that they can reach you digitally, make sure you can close them virtually. Sorry. Leahanne Hobson is the founder and CEO of Alinea Partners Consulting GmbH. The headquarters are in Vienna. And during the day, you'll be also have a handout called Vienna Calling, an interesting actually theme. We'll be distributing several handouts during the day, so be patient with us. Alinea Partners consistently assesses and transforms sales journeys for the biggest IT and telco companies and their channels globally. They give clients an in-depth view of the strengths and weaknesses in their entire sales journey and support them as they make major transitions from product to software to services, or build funnels for entirely new platforms such as Azure. So, Alina, how are you today? Great to have you here.
Fantastic. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can. We can hear you. We can see you. You look great.
I think, thank you. I think it's been about 30 minutes since we've spoken last.
Yes. So are you able to share your screen?
I think so, yes. Let me see.
So let's get your challenge started. We can now see your screen.
Which one?
We can see several things, but not the presentation at the moment. Ah, there it is.
My calendar automatically opened up, which is very inconvenient.
No worries. Excellent.
There we go.
The microphone is yours. Yes, the stage is yours.
Fantastic. So thank you very much for the opportunity, and welcome everyone who is participating in today's event. As we said, we're talking about how to stop losing customers. And this is a presentation or information that I'm sharing that was very relevant prior to the pandemic and is even more relevant today. And it is something for individual companies as well as for channel partners of companies. Let me tell you a little bit of a story about how we got started with doing this kind of research and running these types of programs.
Sorry to interrupt you, Leahanne. Sorry to interrupt. Can you please share a full presentation mode so people can get a great?
Sure.
For your PowerPoint, that'll be nice. Great.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. So the story goes, about 4 years ago, I was sitting with Microsoft, who happens to be one of our first clients, and we were talking about customer experience, customer journeys, and whether or not this was something that analysts were talking about but didn't actually affect the bottom line of a company. Or if we could start to see that there's a correlation between improving customer experience and improving revenue growth. And what we found is that if we ran our program, which is where we attempt to buy hardware or software or services from an IT or a telecommunications company, and we've looked at the moment that matters, which is, do our buyers decide to purchase, or do they run away screaming, or go into somebody else's shop? And that moment that matters in identifying whether or not there are things that you as a company or your channel partners are doing to make that experience better, and identifying things that could be improved or could help to make you or your partners much more competitive or much more at the benchmark level of what's happening in the industry. And if that is done on a regular basis, just like going to the dentist to prevent cavities, companies find that the research, the program, combined with an improvement plan, has shown that they have seen up to 30% increase year over year in revenue from running that program. So a clear correlation was made between improving customer experience and improving revenue growth. And what we found is that that is even more true today in a digital and a virtual world. Companies that relied previously only on selling face-to-face are at a disadvantage today because maybe they hadn't paid as much attention to whether or not their website was actually acting as part of their sales team and whether or not a buyer could easily get through various sales channels to close a deal. Let me tell you a little bit about the results of the research. So we have looked globally at over 550 different companies in the IT and telecommunications world, and they're companies of all different shapes and sizes. And in fact, one of the companies that we've assessed is Wirehive, and Robert will be presenting after me and talking about some of their experiences in the market. But they are a company that has taken on being assessed to a very high degree, and they have improved their sales practices and their websites and a number of other processes. And through this, the other companies that we've looked at over 160 different points in their buying process. And what we're finding is that of those companies globally, 86% of them are losing sales opportunities. So 86% of them have points in their buying process where a potential buyer is saying, no, thank you, I'm not interested. And if you look at the top right-hand box, you'll see that 14% of the companies in that subset were able to close the deal. And that meant they could be found by net new buyers. And once they were found, they could close the business. And the real challenge that is happening is that many companies are finding that they cannot be found unless a company knows their name and location. So to be found by other keywords is very challenging right now in the market. And about 66% of companies out there cannot do that. And that is not just search, it is the full digital footprint. And I'll talk about that in a moment. In addition, 60% of those companies are not able to close the business. Regardless of whether they're found or not, once a buyer enters the sales process from the website, there are challenges that prevent sales from happening every day. Some of them are very easy to fix if identified, and busy companies cannot always identify them themselves, but some of them may take a little bit more time to improve, or a company may decide they want to be best in the market, be better than the competition, and so those changes can be made. Let me take you through a few of the common mistakes, or maybe we can even call this a checklist of things that you may want to take a look at, either yourself, or you can have an independent person or company do that for you. But these are some of the things that you could go back and check very easily yourself to see if they're up and running and giving the best ideal customer experience you would want. So let's break it down into 4 areas: marketing, sales, the offer or solution, and proposal development. Let's start with marketing. Currently, 83% of the companies that we assess do not have any kind of case studies in any way, shape, or form on their website or in their proposals or in their sales process. That is something that if you start to use case studies and put together a case study program, you will be ahead of the majority of your competitors. In addition, we all know that today's buyer wants to know what other people think of a company and of a service or of a product. So this reinforces and makes them feel comfortable that they know a little bit more about you and they've heard it from someone else in the market that is reputable. Digital footprint includes search, your website, and social. And when I say social, I mean social media as well as social selling. Make sure that you are identifying keywords that are not your company name and potentially not even a core product name. And think about it in a natural search context of what your prospect might be looking for. And make sure you use those keywords wherever possible in social, in search, and on your website in order to improve your Google results. Social selling, absolutely critical today. Not social media awareness, but social selling for inbound. It is something that is very easy to individually or as a company get up and running with. And today's situation means that people are spending a lot more time online, as you know, but this is something that has been and will continue even after the pandemic. So I would encourage you to make sure you are getting an authentic social selling training that helps you generate inbound. We do it, we get leads, we close opportunities with it, we highly recommend it. Make sure that your website is also top of the line. It doesn't work today to have a 10-year-old, 15-year-old website that has poor navigation, poor search, not enough information in order for me to understand whether or not I want to put you on my shortlist to buy from. Let's move into sales. Make sure that due diligence call, that first call that is done, is a winning call. Make sure you find out enough about the buyer in order to be able to offer counsel and a service that will be interesting and will delight that buyer. Create a purpose-driven differentiator. Make sure that you have a strong value proposition. Also, make sure your customers land in the right department. If I call you, make sure I get to the right person and don't have to wait on hold. Make sure your offers are understandable and relatable to personas that you want to reach, not just a generic offer. Make sure your customer roadmaps are focused on the personas you're interested in that offer category. And make sure there's a really clear cross and upsell plan that you think about from your website all the way through to your sales discussions and your first, maybe second and third calls with prospects and then customers. Proposal development. 2/3 of the companies that we assess, regardless of the offer, regardless of where in the world, promise us a proposal and we do not get one. There's a lot of room for improvement, be it process, technology, or people. Also, when delivering a proposal, make sure it's professional. Emails are not proposals, and Word documents are very risky. If you want to make sure that you maintain the terms and conditions you set out, make sure it's in a locked PDF file. As I said, Robert Belgrave from Wirehive will speak after me, so it's very nice to have a company that has been assessed. Also on the hardware side, we've assessed Brentwood, and they have also embraced all of the recommendations. And I had been in touch with them about 2 weeks ago, and they said that they felt much stronger being in the current selling situation because they had made a lot of these improvements prior. And they're looking forward to doing another assessment in the coming weeks to make sure that they are at the top of their game so that when they run more digital campaigns, which is the state of the game these days, they know that they're going to get a better ROI because they've made sure that their sales process is as clean as possible and as optimized as possible. So I said to Pele, I would like to give a gift today. So we have 2 of them actually. One is if anyone's interested in more of our research going beyond 15 minutes, please contact us, and we're happy to have a conversation. And we've also put together a paper called Vienna Calling, which has a lot more statistics and a lot more best practice examples and learning examples. Thank you for your time, and you can reach me on LinkedIn or here at this email address. Haley, I think we've done it.
Yeah, no, you're not done. It was an excellent presentation, Leahanne, but people can keep asking questions. We try to answer as many as possible during the time left, so I'll get started right away. So we'll have a question from a friend of ours saying, like, many prospects are financially afraid to make a purchase right now. It makes sense. How do we deal with that?
Well, I don't think that well, first of all, we never want to sell on price, so that should be kept in mind. But if you have a buyer that is looking to purchase something and they're holding that decision, I think you can take the time to continue nurturing them and make sure that they don't fall off the radar screen. Look to provide them with something that can help them so that they turn to you either earlier, shorten the time to close, or once they feel more comfortable, in order to get your counsel, advice, and to purchase from you. So I think it's more important than ever to stay in contact, and this is where social can work really well. You don't have to be selling hard all the time on social, but to stay in touch with that prospect, offer them some article that you read that you thought would be of interest to them. Maybe it's on point with something that you want to communicate to them, such as buy now. It's okay. Or it's something you can reassure them with, or you can simply say you read something interesting in paper, you wanted to share that with them, or help them by connecting them to your contacts who may be of interest to them, and think about it from their success base. How can you bring them business instead of how can you sell your product? So turn it around and think about how you can nurture them during this time and make sure they stay with you for when they are ready to purchase.
Thank you so much for that answer. We have another interesting question coming from Damien. In a less mature market like Africa, how would you recommend to perform social selling?
We do it in Africa.
You have the answer. Right.
We do it in Africa, and you can do social selling in Africa as well. You may not want to use LinkedIn. That might not be the most popular, but there are certainly lots of telephones in Africa and lots of different kinds of social being used. So Instagram might be used more often. I have an artist in Africa that I have on Instagram. Or we're finding that WhatsApp can be used in a creative way, not just for messaging, but also for sharing information. So there are ways that you can do that. And if you are looking to sell outside of Africa and you want to reach audiences beyond your borders, then definitely LinkedIn would be a place to go with that. And we have seen pockets of companies that are using social in Africa. If you want to call me afterward, I might be able to dig up some of our numbers.
Actually, we have a third question that has to do with can you please define the top points that are involved in social selling? Some of them you just covered, but if there are any other things, please do share.
Social selling. I've been on a long journey with social selling. I've been in LinkedIn for many years and I have a lot of followers, but what I was finding is that I wasn't really getting the right inbound from the right type of target audience that I would want. So I started about a year ago in testing different types of content. And over the last couple of months, I think we've found something that is truly authentic. Follow me on LinkedIn, where I can talk about our business, I can talk about our clients, but also doing that in a way like I am right now. Instead of in a a way that
Formal
is,
one.
sorry?
I say instead of doing it in a formal way, formal.
Yeah, formal or like everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can read a book or a textbook. You don't need to be inundated with articles about, you know, how to do the best this or how to do the best that. You want to learn from people's experiences. I want to learn from people's experiences. And I find that when we use this approach, and we have some really good content creators now, we are able to get inbound, and that is inbound for business as well as promotional opportunities, and also people to join our network, because we're always looking for people who want to work with us as well.
It makes sense. We have a slot during the day sharing the value of really good content from Robert Siddall. Stay tuned to listen to his experience. Leahanne, thank you so much. We have some other questions also, but we have to stop and pass to the next slot. So all other questions will be answered privately after the event via emails. Okay, so we'll be in touch with you. Anyway, thank you so much for your time. We do appreciate it. It was great. Thank you.
Great event.
Thank you so much
for the rest of the day.
Thank you. So